How did you wind up in TNA shortly after that? How did that come about?
Hulk called me and said, let's do TNA. And I went, God, I'm not sure about that. And so I called Vince, because I'm loyal to Vince. And he said, I can't tell you no, but I wouldn't do it, And he didn't mean it within disrespect to anybody, but I've been in a place that's 2 Hall of Fame rings, and TNA was great. It's the easiest job I ever had. Dixie Carter's a great person, and she's great. But Dixie has people working for her that don't know what they're doing. That's in black and white.
Right.
The whole world knows that.
I was going to ask you about that.
Yeah.
What were your initial impressions of Dixie Carter when you first met her?
Awesome. Dixie's awesome. She's very nice.
Did you ever feel that she was in over her head at any point in time when you were there?
I felt like she was in over her head the whole time she was there.
Right.
Because she's letting people that don't understand wrestling and run her life. And that's, but that's okay. It's her life. She has the money. Her dad, Bob Carter's a great guy. I got along with all of them.
Did you give Vince an opportunity to match your offer before you went to TNA, or was that not even an option for you?
Well, it wasn't really an option because I had carved out these deals with the lottery. I do 4 lottery tickets for Kentucky, Tennessee, North Carolina, South Carolina, and my lawyer who you spoke to, Melinda, carved all that out, and for Vince that would be difficult because he wants to be in control of the ship, and you know what, he should be. He's a man.
Do you think that when you got out there and you started teaming up with managing AJ Styles, do you think that he embraced the role as much as he could have with you?
Yes. Yeah, he's a great kid.
I was going to ask you, what are your
with
thoughts?
a lot of talent. Great. AJ's he's a great kid with a lot of talent.
You were also working with Vince Russo once again.
Yeah.
In TNA. What are your thoughts on Vince?
Whenever we talked about burying the hatchet, we just got along. He treated me great.
No problems with him?
None at all. No.
As far as TNA goes, they also did a lot of managing with you and Beer Money. They put you with Beer Money.
Love those kids.
Memories of working with those guys?
James Storms and Bobby Roode, I love those kids. They have so much talent.
Especially Bobby.
Yeah, well, not James too. But
right.
James is a very charismatic guy. Bobby's awesome. What's not to like? I love hanging around with the kids. You know that, right? The kids make my life rock and roll.
For TNA, were you there to make a difference in the company, or for you, was it pretty much just another payday? Did you look at it as...
Well, I wasn't sure. I thought my presence made a difference in the company, but, it's funny that what I'm saying to you is that the management, not Dixie, but didn't appreciate who I was, it was a last-day battle for me to get released, to go get my second ring.
I'm going to talk about that.
They held me up on that deal, man. I didn't know I even could go because WWE wanted to put me on the screen and talk and all that. And WWE even agreed to say I was with TNA, but they were hanging me out to dry. So that's one of the reasons I left.
Right.
But after that day, I went, this is like ridiculous. 2-time Hall of Famer, what the fuck? No, I'm sorry, my language.
Right,
No, it's where I'm at, Nobody else has that.
When you went to TNA, did you feel that it was a step down for you at all?
No.
No? Okay.
Because I didn't know where they were at. And I don't think I just stepped down ever because I like the guys there so much and the guys have a lot of talent. Why would it be a step down? I just like being on TV. I like, I like working. I like being in wrestling. So.
As far as the management goes in TNA, who were some of the guys that you might not have got along with as far as, was it writers that pretty much didn't...
No, it's not writers. It's one guy that works, I can't think of his name, I will tell you.
Okay.
One guy that worked for the office in Nashville. He's a country western guy and doesn't understand wrestling, and he's managing the company. I can't think of his name. I would tell you if I had it.
At any time, I always hear a lot of different things with Dixie Carter, and did any time any of the boys try to smarten her up and say, hey, you got to compete with Vince, you got to do this instead of doing that? Did anybody, was she approachable to be able to talk to?
I told her what she needed to do, but it went in one ear out the other.
Right. What are some of the things that you might have told Dixie that she needed to do to maybe compete with WWE?
Well, with TNA and the house shows, they have all the guys that are working with each other sign autographs for an hour before the show, right? I mean, it's ridiculous. It's like a carnival.
Do you think that takes away a little bit from the
Yeah, I
prestige?
know it does. You think Vince would ever do that?
Absolutely not.
I mean, Vince, protects his talent. That's why they're superstars, right? You're not a superstar sitting outside at 5 o'clock in the afternoon signing autographs, all the guys that are wrestling each other, and then then they do this thing at halftime or intermission where you sign more autographs, right? And then after the show, they actually had the nerve to ask me one time to take pictures for $25 a piece for an hour after the show. I said, what? Give me a break. I don't do that. I actually told him, I said, when I told the guy that does that, I can't think of his name now, when Undertaker and Shawn Michaels and Triple H do this, I'll do it.
Right.
Yeah, they were trying to get me to sit out in the ring after the show and sign autographs and take pictures for an hour.
Wow.
Hello.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Now, after retiring in WWE, you pretty much said that you were done in the ring as far as wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
When you went over to TNA, did you have the idea in mind? Obviously, you love the business and you always want to be a part of it.
Mm-hmm.
Was it your idea to get back in the ring, or was that the Office TNA?
It was there.
It was,
yeah.
Okay, and you were all for it?
I was all for it. Yeah, God, I love working.
Did you feel that kind of...
But I need time to get in shape. One week I'm working, the next week, it's like, you have to work out every day and stay in shape. I'm not cosmetically gifted as I used to be. It's not about a wrestling ability. I could wrestle tomorrow.
Right.
But the business is very cosmetic now, as you know. So.
Did you feel getting back in the ring was maybe a slap in the face to what you did in WWE as far as that Monday on TV, how you did the big ceremony and send-off?
No, I never thought of it like that. I mean, I asked permission from Vince. He said, do what you got to do. I mean, nothing's going to follow that. In my 2008 retirement with Sean and did the thing on Raw. But, he understands that I like wrestling. And then he gets that I sat home for a year and a half, bored as hell, getting paid. But I got bored. I mean, I'm not used to sitting home.
When you first heard about TNA competing with WWE as far as the Monday Night Raw and going head-to-head with TNA,
Mm-hmm.
what were your thoughts on it? Did you think Dixie had a chance?
I said, don't go there. I said, don't go there, Dixie. I mean, I was honest with her. I said, it's like now they're making live TV, right? And the ratings haven't budged. It's why would they spend the money to make live TV on Thursday night? We used to tape it, but it is what it is. Are they still making live TV on Thursday night?
Yeah, now they are, and they're actually doing it they're getting away from Orlando and taking it on the road a little bit more.
Oh, good, awesome.
As far as you hear all the time that Hulk and Eric are working Dixie Carter. What are your opinions on that statement? A lot of people say that they're pretty much calling all the shots and taking Dixie for all she's worth.
I would find that hard to believe because even though Dixie's such a nice person, she's smart and she's not going to be someone that's going to ever be taken advantage of. I don't think Hulk and Eric would be in that place. I feel like they're both very honest guys.
As far as with Eric and Bellator, did you ever hear anything regarding maybe Eric coming in and taking over TNA's time slot and switching companies with those guys?
Who?
Bellator, it's a shoot MMA company.
I never heard that, no.
Regarding Eric Bischoff, how has he changed as a leader since his WCW days? You worked with him a lot in WCW. Has he evolved a lot?
He's humbled. He went through a lot with the, and actually then the little run he had with WWE, which I was surprised if Vince ever hired him, but you saw I ended up.
Right. You knew
that. In a garbage truck. I mean, that, Vince was always going to cover himself, and he should. I mean, Eric tried to trash him and tried to kill his company, so Eric had a good run there, but because Vince is all about money and making money, nothing's personal, but at the end of the day, he's going to have his way.
TNA, they always would go ahead and hire a WWE guy that recently would get released, and then they'd get him involved in a program right away with TNA. and sometimes the WWE guys would go over. Did you think that was good for business, or did you feel that maybe they needed to be mixed in a little bit more with the TNA talent? That way it doesn't look like WWE was a little bit stronger than the company?
No, I think guys need to work, and I think that both TNA and WWE would say that, it's fair, that, we're what we call independent contractors.
But
Gotta make a
I'm
living.
saying as far as when they would come over to the company from WWE, like a talent would get released from Vince, and then Dixie would pick that talent up, and right away they would go over on TNA talent. Do you think that was good for business as far as making the WWE talent seem a little bit stronger than, the TNA talent?
I actually wasn't aware of that.
Okay.
I didn't. I'll be honest with you. I wasn't. I didn't look at it like that. I looked at it like guys working, having a good job.
Memories of working with Abyss.
To this, I like the kid. He's okay, but they weren't my best matches.
Different style, right?
Yeah.
Let's talk about managing Kazarian. Whose idea was that? TNA office.
Yeah. I love Kazarian.
Good talent.
Great talent.
They formed the stable there, Fortune, as well.
Mm-hmm.
Whose idea was that? Did you have any?
No, that wasn't my idea at all.
Okay.
I actually think it was James Storms, if I'm correct. Yeah.
Did you ever push to wrestle more in TNA, or were you happy pretty much just being a mouthpiece for some of the guys?
No, I was happy to be a mouthpiece. I love wrestling, but I mean, it's just what happened is like the highest rating they ever had was me wrestling the little black guy that's so nice. Jay Lethal. That got the highest rating they've ever had. But not just having fun, man. And he's an awesome kid.
Yes,
God.
he is.
They fired him.
I know.
What the hell?
Why do you think that was?
I have no idea.
Did you ever go to bat for him at all, or when you found that out?
No, I'm past going to bat.
Right.
I just thought, what a loss. He's such a nice kid.
What were your impressions of his impression of you?
He loves me. God, he does my interviews better than I do. He can do my interviews better than I could do them.
When you first saw him do it, did you pop pretty big?
Yeah, huge.
There was a lot of rumors when you were with TNA that Paul Heyman was going to come into the company.
Mm-hmm.
When you first heard about that, what was your opinion on Paul Heyman coming into the company?
I was hoping he would. I like Paul.
Okay.
Paul's a smart guy. He's back with WWE now, so
Right.
I mean, I don't know what ever happens when he gets in trouble with them. It's not my business, but he comes and goes. But Paul's a very smart guy. It is what it is.
What are your early memories of Paul Heyman from WCW days? Even NWA, actually.
I just always liked him. He's a good kid. I mean, what's wrong with that? He's not a kid anymore, but he's a nice guy, and I always thought he was awesome.
Do you think that Paul could have been very successful in TNA, or do you think people above him would not have let him have full reign of the company?
Paul?
Yeah.
The reason he didn't come was because they wouldn't give him control.
Right.
I don't blame him. Why have some look over your shoulder that has no experience when you got Paul Heyman, who's made a company successful, made money, been successful, and now he's back with WWE. So Paul's done something right in his life. I just go to have fun with the kids.
I don't know if you want to answer this. What happened in Europe with the bus when you wouldn't get on the bus? Was that over?
No, I'll answer that question.
Okay.
Very simple. I worked for WWE my whole life, right? And so I go to Europe, thinking I can get a draw. It's called getting a draw, right?
Right.
And I had my wife with me, and I go to over there. I'm not going to mention the guy's name. I don't want to bury him. I said, I need a draw. He says, we don't give draws. I said, what do you mean don't give draws? What are we supposed to do? Spend our own money over here? Taking a draw against my guarantee, right? Like Vince does. I have been with WWE in Europe, and I took a $10,000 draw one night. I mean, it's in my contract, right? I mean, as long as my in the bounds of my contract, those guys, I asked them for $500 and they went crazy. And I said, you know what, guys? See you when I see you. Then they tried to put the heat on me.
Right.
They said you didn't have the money to get there. I was at the town the next day. I just didn't go to Munich. I had money to get there, but you can't ask for a draw. I mean, TNA puts. This is the God's honest truth. It's so sad. they make the kids double up in rooms.
I've heard.
Yeah, it's absolutely humiliating. I mean, that is the worst snow. When I heard that, I got there and I go, where are you guys staying at? I said, we're staying together. I said, what do you mean staying together? They're staying in the same room. They won't pay for their rooms.
It makes no sense, especially with all the money.
When you work for Vince McMahon in WWE, you come back from a house show, there's enough food to feed China for a year, right? These guys would come back, they got pizza, and I mean, I just wasn't used to it. I didn't get it.
Why do you feel also with the house show business for TNA, they never really promoted their house show business the way they should have. And they had all star power, but they never had the promotion behind it.
That's why I left. They wanted me to do these house shows without advertising me.
It makes no sense.
Makes no sense.
And why is that? Why do you think nobody...
I don't know. I mean, I can't answer that question because I don't know the answer, but that's why I quit. I said, see you when I see you. I'm not going to Louisiana for 3 days. I wasn't even on the website. My lawyer to look up the website and say, you're not even advertised, Rick. Why would I go there? What a waste of my time. And you know what? What made me so mad, and I want him to know it, is Bruce Pritchard promised me, and Bruce and I are like this, that if I went to a house show again, I'd be advertised, main event, not wrestling, main event of the show. And then they called me one day and said, you're going to Louisiana? I said, really? I'll see you when I see you. That was it.
What are your thoughts on Bruce Pritchard?
I love Bruce Pritchard. He's phenomenal. He's had to battle cancer himself and his wife. Bruce and I will be close forever. But I mean, Bruce has got a job. He's got to earn money. And money speaks sometimes louder than friendship. I get it.
When Bruce came into the company to take over for Vince Russo, did you feel the company was going to change directions for the better, or did you think the powers that be, maybe Bischoff and Hogan and Bruce would butt heads?
I thought for sure that Bruce would have the influence to change, but it didn't. And it wasn't about Bischoff and Hogan. They have some drama behind the scenes that overrule bookers, personalities, everybody else. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, it's a really great place to work, easy. I mean, I love the accommodations, took care of me, but I thought Bruce, with the influence he has with WWE and all that, and Bruce has bounced back a couple of times, back and forth with WWE too. I don't know why.
Right.
It's kind of like Heyman, right?
Right.
But I mean, look at Bruce Pritchard, the talent he brought to the company. So I figured Bruce would actually change it around. Watch. 0. But I trusted him.
Getting back to the house show business, isn't it incredible that you think about all the talent that is there, veterans in the business that have never taken Dixie? I'm sure they have, but she has never changed and listened to their opinions or ideas. Isn't that insane to you?
It's more than insane, but I'm not gonna bear anybody. They're just stuck in this groove, and they do what they want to do. But it's actually humiliating to be out there before the show starts with the guys you're wrestling against, sign autographs.
It the business too.
It kills the business.
Yeah.
Vince would never do that. Superstars, right? Hard to get to, non-accessible. There, it's like, for free. I mean, I don't get it. No, it's not free because they charge money for all that, but it's humiliating.
What happened in the match where you tore your rotator cuff? What was that extent of that injury?
Oh, I was in London with the English kid, really nice kid too, Doug Williams.
Yes.
Yeah, I just slammed me off the top rope, but didn't know how to do it. Doug, you have to push me off, brother. I can't just roll over. I'm older now.
Did you get to work with Nigel McGuinness at all?
Who?
Nigel in TNA at all when he was there? Or
No, never. No, he was sick the whole time I was there. I know what the deal is.
Memories of the Hardy Boys in TNA.
Love them
Jeff
both.
and Matt.
Love them both. Yeah, they can't hang with me. They try to, but they can't. They think they can. I love Jeff and Matt, and I love Beth, Jeff's wife.
Right.
Little baby now. I'm so proud of them. They're just nice people. I have gotten Jeff Hardy and Matt Hardy so drunk in Europe, back with WWE, I paralyzed them.
Who in TNA would you go out with? Who would you socialize with outside the ring?
James Storm, Keith Mitchell. Keith is the head of production, right? From WCW, right?
Right.
James Storm, Mickey J, all the time. Victoria, Mike, TNA. We all went back to the DoubleTree and watched sports. You through working at 7 o'clock at night. Are you kidding me?
All right.
Easiest gig in the world. Get there at 3, shoot the show 5 to 7, you're out of there.
After you tore your rotator cuff, you never had surgery on your shoulder.
Because what happened was Dr. D'Alessandro, who's the number one orthopedic surgeon in North Carolina. Both my rotator cuffs have been operated on, but by Jim Andrews in Birmingham, right? So I just didn't want to go on to Birmingham again. So I go to Dr. D, and he goes, if you will actually just not work out for a couple months, it'll heal. It's not that bad. And you know what? He's right. I mean, I lost mobility in it, but I didn't have to have the surgery because that's a badass surgery, man.
Right.
I know the rehab on a rotator cuff is brutal. Then I tore my tricep wrestling Sting.
I remember that.
You know that, right?
Yeah.
And that healed too. I got the gift, man.
Everybody talked about it.
I got the gene.
Yeah.
They wanted to operate on that too.
And we're actually just healed. It's amazing.
Yeah.
You were in and
God
out.
gave me a gift, brother. It's called the gene.
Magic. A lot of people want to know, in this day and age, you still work in the ring. Will there ever be a day where you say, all right, I've done everything that I could possibly do in the business?
I've already said that.
Okay. As far as getting in the ring and working. But obviously, you're a valuable asset to be a mouthpiece. But is there ever a day when you'll say, all right, I've had enough, I'm going to hang up my tights?
Never.
Never? You'll die in the ring?
Not till they send me home. I'll either die in the ring. I text Vince a couple months ago. I want to die on top of Wendy, Fifi, or in the ring.